Hey guys, I'm not going to try to make too long of a video, but maybe about a month back I made a video about adhesion contracts. Your driver's license, how it's an adhesion contract, and so is your social security card. Many people could not fathom it because of the word contract. See, over time, they have slowly phased out common law and superseded Admiralty Maritime law onto the land. So a living man can do business or contract or agreement with a corporation. That's why corporations are legally considered persons, an entity. Same thing as you or I. We are considered a person. We are an entity. We're not looked at as man or woman. So when you go in and you apply for your driver license, which the legal definition is for hire on the public roads and highways, it is stripping your liberty and your right to give you a license when you have the right to travel. Now, this also coincides with DMV being an agency, a type of government agency. When that driver license is issued, you don't own it. The state owns it, and also the federal government. So now let's say you are, for lack of a better words, driving or operating. You get pulled over by the police, which is really the privateers of old. They were the guys that were hired by the king and given the letter of marque to go out and plunder and attack innocent people and merchants, steal their shit. You know where I'm going with that. So now they'll pull you over, and the first thing they'll ask for is license. Well, they need you to hand them that license because you are literally contracting with them. It can get really confusing. This dictionary right here, Admiralty and Maritime Law, is a very good dictionary. I recommend buying and reading it. Also, the Black's Law dictionaries, and even the Bouvier's Law dictionaries. You can also get a few on procedures and how they work. You know, the courts are set up as kind of a Freemasonic Saturnalia setup. They're on 3 tiers, and the judge wears a black robe, and that represents Saturn. A lot of our law is in Latin, comes from Latin. So the judge will sit on the bench, and that simply means bank. So he's the bankster, pretty much. So anytime you walk into a court, you are considered dead or of unsound mind. And that's why if you hire an attorney, you are already establishing you do not know the law and you are of unsound mind. That's why you need to be careful what you say, because it can and will be used against you. Remember, it is not innocent until proven guilty. And this is what happens with Admiralty law. Every crime has a denotation of money. It has a price. That's why when you get charged, you're getting charged for a crime. Well, you charge things when you buy them. When you order something, it gets shipped because you are on your citizenship. And these get into whole other concepts as being a U.S. citizen. When the 14th Amendment was applied, it was the freed so-called slaves. Well, they needed some kind of, let's say, privileges. They couldn't just give them rights. So they turned them into U.S. citizens. Then they just blanketed the whole thing and made us all U.S. citizens, in which we all have privileges and certain immunities. That's why you need a pistol permit, but you have the right to bear arms. But you have to be a state sovereign or a state national, just like it was prior to the Civil War. See, Abraham Lincoln was the tyrant. He was called the Tyrant King. That's why he sits on a throne on his monument, and he is everybody's idol. He never freed anything. It was never about slavery, and I hope people really do understand that. It was about the South trying to survive and pay these ridiculous tariffs that the industrial North were imposing upon the South. And slavery has existed for thousands upon thousands of years. Yes, it is immoral, we know that, but that's how it worked. Even biblically, that's how it worked. You read a lot of Southern literature and claims it was being phased out. But Lincoln wanted them back in the Union. It wasn't about slavery. It only became about slavery as a tactic to keep Europe from coming to the aid of the southern states. But anyways, I hope I can shed a little light on it. Same thing with your Social Security card. It's another adhesion contract. That is your SS number, as in like your SS Constitution. Get it? It's your ship number. So just bear in mind, everything is a ship. Friendship, citizenship, relationship, scholarship, dealership, any type of ship, you name it. I highly recommend buying some Black's Law Dictionary, some maritime law dictionaries, and get a couple court procedures. And then you will start to get the understanding of how this all works. And start researching the Uniform Commercial Code. And the one last thing I'm going to add to this is the biggest power that the federal government has, and even some of the states, is the Commerce Clause. Commerce is business. That means it has anything to do with money, currency. Well, everything we do today in life is based on currency. Therefore, they can reign supreme power with that clause. Nothing else matters. That's the important one there. Back in the day, that's not what the regulation meant on commerce. But they took that to a whole nother level. Anyway, guys, I hope you learned something here. Comment below. DM me for more info. Subscribe, like, and share.